Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Good evening, my friends. This is Angy Stewart from Mia InnerLight, and we are here again live on Kardec Radio. So today is Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are having another beautiful study. We studied these two books. We studied the Gospel according to Spiritism for 40 minutes, and then we studied this book. What is Spiritism for 20 minutes. So it's a great study. A lot of people tell me, oh, I don't need to study the Gospel. I already read it. I know it. You should do a different book. But if you hear lectures from any of the famous Brazilian speakers, you know, Haroldo Dutra Dias, so many, they will always say, even Divaldo Franco, the most famous medium of Brazil at this moment. So Divaldo Franco says that every time he finishes reading the Gospel, he goes back to the beginning and he reads again. And he also says that every time he reads, he understands a sentence in a different way or in a little bit deeper way. So it's really, the Gospel is for us forever. And especially now, you know, now we are living this time of pandemic. We are still isolated in our houses. Yes, many cities, things are getting better. Like in Miami, for example, we already can socialize in public places. We already can go to restaurants. But we stayed for such a long time isolated in our homes. And the Gospel was really a tool, was a wonderful instrument to help us to cope with the pain, to cope with the difficulties. For example, I cannot bring my parents to the United States. And it's more than 2 years that I haven't seen my parents. So this is very difficult. And this is one little thing compared to other people that have issues much bigger than myself. But it's just an example. So this is just for all of us to understand how important it is. When things get back to normal, when everybody starts opening their Spiritist centers and they can go there to go back to studies, every Spiritist center, they have classes. You know, most of them have lectures, but all of them also have classes. And the classes are usually about the codification or the books of André Luiz. But it depends from center to center. Most of the centers, you have to be able to finish the studies of the Kardec codification in order to go to the studies of André Luiz, just because André Luiz came much later. So his teachings are more developed. So if you don't understand the basic of the codification of Kardec, it's difficult for you to understand some of the concepts that André Luiz brings for us. So, summary, you need the Gospel. That's it. You and myself. I don't even know how many times I studied the Gospel. That's a difference too. One thing is to read the Gospel, to read a book. A study book, for example, you read the book. Another thing is to study a book. You know, you read something like, okay, you read, you understood, maybe. But if in a week, a month, a year, we ask you about that, are you going to remember to explain? Probably not, because you read. So it's very different than read and study. And that's what we do. We study, we read, we change experiences, we talk to each other about it. We ask you that are watching us, what do you think about it? So this is the beauty of the Gospel. Of course, any book is a blessing. We will always be learning and improving, but I'm talking about the base. We need to have a very, very solid base in order to explore other things. So, said all that, let me say hello. Hello, Matthew. How are you? Nice to have you here. I hope you are back with your meditation. I hope you're having a better diet, huh? Not a lot of fried stuff, not a lot of hot dogs and hamburgers. Let us know how's your diet. Hello, Claudine. I miss you, girl. Hope everything is all right. Hi, Nora. Things are opening. Soon you're going to visit us here in Miami. Hello, Saul. How are you, my dear? Very good to see you all here. So let's bring our guests. So we have here Jaqueline. Hey, Jaqueline.
Hello, Angie. How are you? Hello, everyone.
I'm good. Thank you to have you here with us too. This is great.
Thank
And
you.
now we have here Araceli.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Angie, for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting. This is great to have you with us for the first time. So the ones that don't know Araceli, so Araceli and Jaqueline, they are both my neighbors here from Miami. And we have opened our Spiritist Center in Coconut Grove. And both of them have been with us. So at this moment, the center is super ultra tiny. Because of the COVID situation, we didn't expand. So everybody that is going, that they are all vaccinated, and we are trying to keep things tight and safe. But soon we will be able to open to more people, and it will be a pleasure to meet more friends. So Araceli is one of our members, because you already know Jaqueline. Jaqueline has been here many times already. So, thank you for both of you being here with us. Thank you for all of you watching. And let's go. Let's start so we don't waste much of our time. We are going to do our initial prayer. And I would like to know, Jaqueline, could you pray for us?
Yes, I can guide our prayer right now. Thank you so much, Angie.
Thank you.
At this moment, I want to thank you, God, for giving us the opportunity to meet, to be together tonight, having the opportunity to study the gospel and the book, What is Spiritism, to have the opportunity to learn more about your teachings. Please guide us, please give us wisdom to understand the real meaning of the words that we're going to read tonight. And please enlighten our conversations so that the words don't come out as just simply beautiful words, but they have a meaning, and that these words can have some impact on tomorrow. When we wake up, we are better people. Once again, I wanted to thank you for this opportunity, Lord, and please allow for the good spirits to stay with us. And if there's any spirit that is suffering right now, that these spirits can get just the positive energy from this prayer, from this teaching, and this spirit can leave and go back to where he or she belongs, and in a much better place than when they joined this study. Thank you so much, and so be it.
So be it. Very good. So, my friends, before we start, I just want to remind you, if you can have your water bottle there, the spirits will bless it and they will put the good medication for you so you can use it throughout the week. Another thing I want to remind you before I forget is that if you're here in Miami, if you're going to be listening to this later on, oh, by the way, wait a minute, I forgot to turn on Kardec radio. Wait. I always forget. This is crazy. 1 second, please.
I think it did, because I heard the song in the beginning.
Yeah. It's like, whew, I need to record so our friends that don't watch Facebook and they don't even watch YouTube, but they listen through the radio so they can listen to our recording. So very good. Kardec radio is on. So what I was telling is that if you are here from Miami area, or if you're listening from Miami area and you would like to participate in some kind of volunteering work, join us. Join me, InnerLight, and Volunteers of Love, because we are doing this beautiful partnership with another foundation called See the World. And we are distributing lots of cleaning material to the visually impaired brothers and sisters. And this Sunday will be a holiday, yes, 4th of July, but we will be working. Yes, I will be there. Jacqueline will be there. And many other friends will join us. So if you would like, it's just a few hours, 2-3 hours. We pack the materials and we go to their house, we give the bags, and that's it. That's it. It's very easy, but it's very important for them. So it's really a wonderful help. So if you are available, if you're not traveling, let us know and join us. And let's go. Let's start. So let me see what Matthew said here. Matthew said, I got one dose of vaccine back in May. Very good, Matthew. You got the one dose. What is the second dose? When is your second dose? I already got both of my doses. I have to say that my second dose, I was a little bit,
I think it's the Johnson and Johnson, like mine. We just have one doses.
Which one did you take?
Johnson and Johnson.
Oh, Johnson and Johnson. Yeah, I took Moderna, but my second dose was strong. I was like, whoa, weird. But it was only for a day. The next day, thank God, I was good, and I was back in shape again. So it's like very good. So, my friends, if you have the book, if you have the physical book or the PDF version, we are on chapter 19, and we will be commenting today the items 6 to 10. And please feel free to put your comments, to ask questions, to participate with us. It will be great to have your participation. So I have Nora, he's saying that I also felt the second dose stronger. Yes, yeah, the second dose is stronger, definitely. But I'm happy that we didn't have like the very tough consequences some people have. Side effects are very, very tough.
Yeah.
So did you have your both doses, Araceli?
Yeah, I have Pfizer.
Oh yes, Pfizer. Yeah, my son had the Pfizer too, and he is Janssen. So in Brazil, Johnson and Johnson is called Janssen. So all my friends keep joking. Oh, we had Janssen, and then they keep asking, did Janssen have Janssen? But here it's called Johnson and Johnson. But in Brazil and in Europe, it's called Janssen. So as I always do, I will read a little bit and then we can all comment. So the portion I will read is about religious faith, the state of unshakable faith. So we start like this. From the religious point of view, faith is the belief in the particular dogmas that comprise the different religions. All religions have their articles of faith. From the aspect, faith may be either rational or blind. Blind faith examines nothing, accepts both the false as well the true without verification, and clashes at every step with evidence and reason. Taken to the extreme, it produces fanaticism. So this is very important to us to understand. This is the blind faith produces fanaticism. We are going to talk a little bit more about it. Then we jump to faith that is based on the truth, is the only kind assured of the future, because it has nothing to fear from the progress of enlightenment, since whatever is true in obscurity is also true in light. So this is very good for us to start. So let's start. What can we talk about blind faith? So let's start about it. And everybody, you all can participate. You can all let us know your inputs. And I have saw here, she had a Pfizer, and she also felt sick on the second dose. Yeah, but you know, the good thing is that we are vaccinated and that we are a little bit more protected. Even if they say they are a variant that's wild and crazy dangerous, but at least we already had some protection. We are better than having absolutely nothing. So, my friends, blind faith, what can we talk about it?
Angie, I was thinking about this, as we go, as I was getting prepared for this. And one example that I can think of, and it has nothing to do with criticizing the religious, the Catholicism, but the way I was associating it is when back in the 1600s, when the Portuguese and the Spanish, they were coming to America, and they were going to teach the indigenous people or the local people the Catholicism. And the indigenous people had to believe in what they said. They had nothing else. They just had to believe. They had no other way. And that became their religion because people told them. They didn't have a chance to argue what was told to them. And that became not only a fanaticism, but it also became a form of political organization, right? So if what we are comparing to nowadays, if I enter any type of spiritual study, it doesn't matter if it's Catholic, if it's Spiritism, if it's any other religion, if I don't look to understand exactly what does it mean to say these words? What does it mean? What does sentence say? What does it really mean when Jesus said this specific parable? What did he want to say? Because there's a lot of interpretation that were transformed through the years as people were rewriting the teachings from Jesus. So we have to look really, what is the message that Jesus wanted to teach us through those words, right? So that is what is really going to inspire us, because the blind faith doesn't change. It just stays here in our mouth. The real faith is here. We feel in our heart. We feel inside our chest. We know that is true, but we don't know that is true just because. We know because we understand.
Exactly. So just before Araceli say anything, we have Matthew that says, blind faith is the favorite target for skeptics and anti-theists, making them think that the faith is just lying to oneself. Yes.
Denial, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Matthew. Exactly.
Very good point.
Yeah, very good point. I think the blind faith is, you don't really feel anything about it. You just saying, yes, I do have faith, but you don't feel it inside of you. Like Jacqueline say, you need to feel it. You understand it. What is that kind of feel for you, for your brother, or for your sister? Have faith for a person that is sick, and it's no, in your heart that person is gonna be better. You have faith, you feel it in your heart. Because I can say, oh yeah, it's gonna be better, but you really don't feel it.
Yes, and as we say specifically towards spiritism. So a lot of people say, so why do you believe in spiritism? Why do you think it's possible that we will die and the spirit is alive? They ask so many questions, and the first thing that we have to say that we will explain a little bit later within our study is that Jacqueline mentioned our faith, the Spiritist faith, should be a faith that is connected to reasoning. we resonate, we understand, we research, we try to understand it. If a spiritist person, and there are a lot of people like that, I'm talking specifically about spiritism. A lot of people say, oh, because Divaldo Franco said so. And then imagine someone that does not understand anything about spiritism. So sad. And why is that? And the person don't really understand much about what Divaldo mentioned. I don't even know an example, but something Divaldo mentioned. This person don't have a full understanding of spiritism. So instead of helping this person to understand a little bit more, they make the person even to go more away because they don't have this unshakable faith that we need to develop. And how to develop? We only developed it through study, to questioning. You know, spiritists should never believe in something because someone said that. You have to research through books. You have to try to see lectures of people that talk about mediumship, for example. Why so many people still think mediumship is a lie? Yes, there is a lot of people, as we are gonna study in this book here, mediums for hire. We are gonna study in a few minutes. There are a lot of mediums that use their mediumship for money. It's like a profession. And unfortunately, many times they end up losing their mediumship, or they're just fake mediums. So it makes people to connect that everything about mediumship is fake. It is a lie. So for us to develop our faith, we have really to try to understand it. And we can go from the basis, you know, the teachings of Jesus. Yes, Christianity and religions throughout the millennia killed lots and lots of people. Religion killed the Protestant, the Christian, the Protestant, the Christians.
Yeah.
They were always like killing each other. But if we take just the teachings of Jesus, all the beautiful moral teachings, you can apply to any religion, to no religion. And in this book, in the gospel, before few chapters ago, we studied the difference between the moral person and the good spiritist. So we know that the moral person has all kinds of beautiful characteristics, and it's very hard to have all these characteristics. And the good spiritist is the good person applying the spiritist teachings. So it's a high level, and it's hard to live like this, but we can always start doing our little bit. But it's very important for us to really understand what we believe, because it will start developing our unshakable faith. So that's why this study and so many others are so important to help us with that.
And Angy, one of the other things is when the blind faith, our actions are not consistent to what we say most of the time, right?
That's
So,
very
for example,
good.
I say that I love thy neighbor, okay, but when I go out in the street, I judge this person because of the color of the skin. I judge that person because of what she's wearing. I'm not loving when I'm doing these things. If I am practicing it, if it comes from a place that I understand what it means to love thy neighbor, I may do this because we are humans and we make mistakes, but immediately I know that I'm not doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your conscience talk to you,
right?
yeah, and say, "Wait a minute,
exactly.
you're doing something that is not right."
Exactly. So the blind faith, you don't even notice this because you just say, you don't feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to compliment her, Sally?
Yeah, I think it because of the studying and all the books that everybody have read, because we have to study and we have to read, and you get to the knowledge that as soon as you have a judgment for another person, or whatever you have in thinking, you cut yourself thinking and say, wait, stop. You can't do that. You're not doing the right thing. You don't practice what you preach. So stop. So, and then I caught myself in that situation. Sometimes I say, wait a minute, I have to stop.
Yeah, exactly. It's like our wake up call, our conscience. Our
I
conscience.
conscious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they say that the conscious is the worst judge that we have. So
Yes.
it's not judging, not judge out there. They can judge you better than yourself.
Yeah, exactly. We can even hide from our own conscience. We listen, but we
Listen.
decide not to accept. But
Yes.
with the time, it's going to be stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yes.
And then we have to face it. Even if we
Yes.
don't face in this lifetime, when we discarnate, boom, it's going to come full
Yes.
bloom.
And it's very hard. It's very hard for ourselves know and recognize and accept that we have defects, that we have, such a bunch of defects that we need to change. In order for us to ask for somebody else to change, we need to ask first,
Yes.
change ourselves. And it's very
Exactly.
hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's difficult, but we
Mhm.
have to say, I will start. And that's the important thing. So Claudia Garsey said, you have to understand what you believe in. You have to question things, not just accepting in it without analyzing it. And yes, exactly. We have to question. This is the beauty of Spiritism. Kardec is the one who taught us, don't accept something. You have to question, is it right? Who said that? Why? When did it happen? Can we have a second opinion? For me, this is almost like it's so normal. It's like you go to a doctor and he tells you need surgery. And you're like, oh, that's okay. That's what you think. Yeah. Why? Because this is okay, good. So I go to a second doctor and I go to a third doctor. Because we have to try to understand we are human beings capable of failure. So let's do a research to try to understand. The same thing we should do with spirituality, trying to understand it. You have to do this with anything in life. People come to gossip about someone. The first thing you should try is to stop. You like, it's not really good for us to talk about this. Is that we have to do that questioning. Is it something that's going to help me? It's going to help the other. Is it positive? So we have to do this questioning. If the answer is no, so this is just gossip. So let's not talk about it. Let's change subjects. That's very good for us to learn too. So continue here. Let me see what else we could mention here. So it talks also about that for some individuals, faith is like innate, and for others, faith is super difficult. And it's true, but the way he explains is that, the ones who have this faith innate is because it's a sign of progress. They are already reincarnated with that within them. They accept it. It's easier. For others, faith is almost impossible. They question everything, but they question so much that is difficult. It's not a questioning to understand. It's really like what this book taught us, is questioning with an idea against it already preconceived. So it's basically against it. It's questioning because no. It's a very big difference, questioning to understand and questioning to prove this is wrong. So this is an interesting point that Kardec brings to us. And as we already mentioned, he talks about rational faith. That's what we were talking about, how important is to have a rational faith. And then we move on to the parable. It's a very famous parable. I'm sure you all heard I will read because it is small, and then we can comment. So the parable of the withered fig tree. So when they left
Mhm.
Bethany, he was hungry, and seeing a fig tree some way off, he went to see if he could find something on it. And having come to it, he only found leaves because it was not the season for figs. Then Jesus said to the fig tree, "May no one eat any more fruit from you," which the disciples heard. On the following day, as they passed by the fig tree, they saw that it became withered down to its roots, like it was dead, it was totally dry. And remembering Jesus' words, Peter said to him, "Master, look how the fig tree that you cursed has become withered." Jesus answered him, saying, "Have faith in God. Verily I say to you that whatever says that to the mountain, be uprooted and cast yourself into the sea, without any doubt in his heart, but firmly believing that what he has said will happen, will see it actually happen." So this is in Matthew 11:12. So very interesting. And then this parable is very important for us to comment, because a lot of people hear the parable, read the parable, but do not understand the parable. So, what can you start saying for everybody to understand? And all of you that are listening to us, let us know how you interpret this parable too. So, what can we comment?
I think the what the parables say is that you have to have faith, but coming from deep from your heart, and believe in what you're going to do. Not just saying it. Oh yes, I believe in this and that. It's not gonna happen. You really, really have to believe it and feel it in your heart. Because when I want something, I really want something for me to happen. I pray, and I pray feeling in my heart, and I have faith that that's gonna happen. And it really happens later on in the week to week. So God give me that gift. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that is it's having the faith.
Mm-hmm. Jacqueline, what do you want to add?
Um, I think we can associate the fig tree, and it's in the gospel too, right? To the people that the fig tree is beautiful. It's a really beautiful tree, but if it doesn't give the figs, it has no purpose, right? So this represents the people that know the gospel, the people that speak beautifully about spirituality, but they don't do anything. They don't act according to their words, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and when they do those things, people won't learn with them because they don't see the actions of their words. So the fig tree for me represents in this parable like those people. On the other hand, the fig tree represents those people that actually they have the opportunity to do something really good, which is to show this to other people, to walk the talk, to be the role models, but they don't do it. They don't use this benefit that was given to them to speak so beautifully, to understand, or at least to explain it so well. But at the end of the day, they don't do what they say, right? So I think it's both, is the fig tree being beautiful, and when we associate to us is some of us talk about it beautifully, but we don't walk the talk. And if when I was looking at the book as well, the other thing that I highlighted here is that, which has to do with the next topic that we're going to be studying in 6 minutes, is that the mediums they interpret the spirits, bringing it back to spirituality, to spiritism. They have this right, so they have this privilege to get messages, to receive messages from the spirits. The spirits use their body, or they borrow their bodies to transmit those messages. when they use this faculty in a way that we're going to talk, right, they also represent the fig tree.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we have Matthew. He made a comment here. I just think it means if you believe, you can do anything. Yes, this is very much connected to what Araceli was mentioning. So, commenting on what we are always all saying here in the book, and the number 9 is very beautiful, because Kardec says that the fig tree symbolizes persons who have only appearance of goodness. So they look good, they seem a good person, but who in reality produce nothing that is worthwhile, like orators or lecturers, who in reality are very more flashy than substantial. So that's what Jacqueline was explaining to. So is that person that knows a lot, shows to other people that knows, but when it goes in practice to do, it doesn't. So it's what Araceli mentioned before. You have to be the good instrument. You have to do what you preach. Because imagine you have the qualities, but you don't put it in practice. So a fig tree produces wonderful fruit. And if there is no wonderful fruit, it's just a beautiful tree, then what is this fig tree doing? It's not doing her work. Of course, that lots of people question, but Jesus was not fair with the fig tree because it was not time to produce fruit. And we have to understand this is a parable. Jesus always gave us this idea so we could visualize, we could put ourselves in his shoes, trying to give like a broader picture, a broader understanding. So the understanding is that they are in the desert, they need food. You know, in that time, there was no restaurants, there were no highways, there was no place with refrigerators. So the fruit trees, they were how they could survive. So it's very important for them to be able to eat from that. And if it's not providing that food, so what good is there? And if we go to the next page that talks about the mediums, that's what we are going to be talking in the second book. But it's pretty much connected, as Jacqueline mentioned. There are mediumship everywhere, mediumship in different religions, mediumship in Spiritism. So there are good mediums and the ones that are not that good mediums. So one of the beginning of the sentence he mentions here is like mediums are interpreters of spirits, supplying the physical organs that they lack to instrument their teachings to us. That is the reason mediums have been endowed with faculties to this effect. So mediums exist not just to be instruments of our curiosity. And I'm going to get married and I'm going to have kids. Blah, blah, blah. No, mediumship is not for this purpose. Mediumship is really this person that will be connecting you with the spirituality with a purpose to help. So when we participate in mediumship groups, a lot of people have the misconception that we are helping the spirits, the enlightened spirits. They tell us it's not that. Yes, there is a very small percentage of difficult spirits that need to connect with our flesh so they can have that connection and they can improve from that. But the majority of the cases is for us to learn from their mistakes. So we help them, communicating with them, talking with them, trying to help them. But we also are being helped because we hear about how was his life, what happened, why he hated so much somebody else, and what happened. And then we heard how he is living. Many times we ask, are you happy? No, I hate this, I hate that, I miss my family. So you see, that his life did not produce good fruits. So mediumship is for that, is to help ourselves and the spirits. But then if someone has the gift and is misusing it or not using it properly, it's like what he says here. If they divert from its providential purpose the priceless faculty of mediumship that was conceded to them, if they make it serve pointless or harmful matters, it can be even removed from them. So this is something for us to think. But we have also to understand that there is mediumship in every religion. And yes, people that are not spiritists and they charge is different. They do not know it. So they will be less culpable, if we can say this word. It's not the word that I wanted to use, but they don't have this broader understanding that we have. So this is important. But if a person that understands Spiritism understands that everything we receive for free, we should give for free, and is charging, then it's even more problematic. Anything you guys want to add before we move on to the other book?
And the mediumships that people charge for it, they become millionaires. It's one that the Hollywood medium, they charge hundreds of dollars for the consult, the visit of it. If you say that the mediumship, the same way that it was given, it take out, you think that they really going to be a moment that they're going to have the mediumship?
Well, we really can't say that. We don't know. But what the spirits tell us is that every medium has a purpose. So if this medium was brought to incarnate in a family that doesn't know anything about mediumship, it's because there is a purpose to bring the message to that population. So in this sense, I really appreciate the American mediums, for example. There are so many shows about mediumship.
Yes.
And you see, some of them are really like amazing because they have this connection. So they are real. They're not lying. And then the purpose I believe is that they are bringing this knowledge to a broader population. Because, for example, me, I'm Brazilian, and if I am talking about mediumship, it has a different weight than if an American person are talking about mediumship. Of course, that I just mentioned in Spiritism, we do not charge, but this person is not a Spiritist. For this person, it's okay to charge because it's her job, it's her faculty. But, what the spirits say is that if something is being used for goodness, if she is working to help, even if she's making millions, thousands of dollars, I don't know, she is still bringing consolation for the families, and she's bringing knowledge. There is life after death. But for us, the spiritists, this is a no. And yes, the mediumship will be removed if you misuse it. But as we know, God knows much more than us, and maybe this person has a purpose. So we don't know. So it's something for us to imagine. So let me just see.
But maybe one example we can use.
So let me just read the comment, and then you say. So Saul said, how can an ostensive medium that don't know Spiritism improve to do the good? Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like these persons, they are mediums. There is the Long Island medium. That's Edward something. They are very, very famous in America. Mm-hmm. If they are doing good, if they are bringing consolation to those families, even if they are charging, And if they are doing from their heart, if they think this is my job, but I'm bringing help, I think this is still positive. They are not spiritists. They are not aware of this. But if in a certain moment of their lives, they start like, oh no, if you don't pay, I don't know, $10,000, I'm not going to do it. If they start focusing on money more than consolation, then I think that's a big problem. Then they might lose their faculty. We don't know. Jacqueline.
No, maybe the money or the power. I think one example that, is João de Deus, because he did really help a lot of people. There were many things that happened where he was close to Brasilia, up to the point that they realized that he was doing something criminal, molesting the woman, right? Abusing the woman. And that privilege was removed from him. I'm just saying the facts. I'm not judging, but that I think it's one very clear example of somebody that was really using his mediumship to help many people, but then he started misusing it. Maybe the power went to his head. We don't know what it was, the money and the power, to the point that he couldn't continue doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So you think more enlightened spirits was abandoning him, and more the dark spirits was coming through him and let him, tell him to do those things? It probably changed because he went, through the lighting and then to the darkness. So probably
because we attract what we have at that moment, right? That's why we have to keep our thoughts always positive. We always have to be connected to the teachings of Jesus to attract the good spirits. If we start gearing our thoughts or our intentions to the matter, then we start attracting all kinds of spirits to us, the good, the bad,
exactly.
the not so bad.
Yes, I think when we have a negative thought, sometimes we put in our minds some negative thought, and you say, "Oh no, this is where start," and then it start growing that thought bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And say, "Yes, Araceli, don't do it because this one is gonna hit you, and they're gonna hate you," and you start making your own telenovela, your own soap opera and your head. And that's why it become all the spirits, dark spirits, putting more things in your head, and you acting that way. Say, yes, it's true. I don't want to do this because this one is not good with me.
Yeah, one thing that we have to understand is that, first of all, mediums, they reincarnate with mediumship because they had problems, and they asked the spirituality to reincarnate with mediumship so they could help much more people, and they could redeem their defaults from the
defaults.
So mediums are no saints. They are full of issues, but yes, they have the ability to communicate with spirituality in order to improve their faults, their problems, and helping others. So when we talk about John of God, yes, he was a medium. He was a very good medium. He had the healing characteristics, and he was helped by good spirituality. But as we can see, one of his problems from the past was connected with sexuality. So in a certain moment of his life, we don't know when, he started really focusing on this and connecting with spirits that were bringing him to this dark side of his past. And then, as you both mentioned, the higher spirits, I'm sure they tried everything to wake him up, to remove him from the situation. But we have our free will. And the guardian angel is here, the obsessor is here. We have our free will to listen to this side or to that. And as you can see, he decided to go to the other side. So with the time, the enlightened spirits couldn't even communicate with him anymore because his vibration probably got so low that he was like totally taken by the negative spirits. So when people say, "Oh, João de Deus was always a lie," no, he was not. He was not a lie. He was a medium. He was actually very good. A lot of people got killed because of him, but unfortunately, he is a normal man and full of mistakes, and he hurt a lot of people and a lot of women. What is very, very sad. So now he will have to learn the tough consequences. Well, we
Yeah,
have
at
to
the
go
end, he
now
was
with that
human.
book, although we are not going to be able to finish. So this is the book. What is Spiritism? And we are in chapter 1. We are in the middle of chapter 1. So mediums for higher. So that's the ones we are going to be talking about today. Mediums for higher. Jacqueline, can you read for us a little bit, please?
Yes, the visitor mentioned, before they delve into a prolonged course of study, some people would like to be certain that they would not be wasting their time and certain that they will be provided with a conclusive fact, even if they have to pay for it. So Kardec writes, people who don't want to go through the trouble of studying display more curiosity than actual desire to learn. Well, spirits don't like the curious more than I do. Moreover, cupidity is especially disagreeable to them, and they don't lend themselves to anything that may satisfy it. One would have to have a very wrong idea of them to believe that highly evolved spirits such as Fenelon, Bossuet, Pascal, or Saint Augustine would submit to the orders of the first person who showed up and paid a certain amount per hour. No, sir. Communications from beyond the grave are too serious and require too much respect to serve as exhibitions.
Very good. So just summarizing, this visitor is basically asking Kardec, so just to not waste my time, can we have like a paid session so we can actually see the mediumship phenomena happening? And then Kardec is saying, no, do you think you can pay for a spirit to produce a phenomena? And then he started explaining, people don't want to go to the trouble of studying to display more curiosity than actually desire to learn. So people in that in that time was like this. Our time is still like that. People don't want to waste time studying. They just want to like, oh, show me and I will believe. So this is pretty much connected with we were talking a few minutes ago. You know, this is blind faith. When people come to say, oh, if I see, I will believe. Not necessarily. Yeah, some people will say, yeah, I saw, I think it's real, but then they will not even know how to explain. They will say, oh, I saw a ghost. And as we already mentioned, especially here in the United States, ghosts are pretty much connected with Hollywood. Is that the evil thing that with horns, something like, "Ugh." And it's not like that. It's spirits. It's spirits. If you're a good person, you will be a good spirit. If you're a bad person, you'll be a bad spirit. And that the movies from Hollywood, they always show the evil things. The ones that are, they are not, most of the population is not like that. It's a small percentage. So this is important for us to understand. And then let's move on. Araceli, can you read this other portion, please?
Moreover,
Yes.
Okay. Moreover, we know that experience phenomena do not function like the gears of some mechanisms, because they depend on the will of the spirit. Even if a person does have a mediumistic faculties, he or she cannot claim to be able to obtain experience phenomena at any given moment. If these believers are inclined to suspect the good faith of medium in general, it would be much worse if a medium harbored a desire of profit. are born inside of prophets. They will have good reason to suspect that paid mediums will simulate the phenomena when spirits were not actually present, because their main concern will be getting paid. Not only is absolute this this
Disinterest.
disinterest the best guarantee of authentic, it will be repugnant to our reason to ask the spirit or our loved ones to come for a price.
Very
If
good. So let's just comment a little bit. So here is exactly what Kardec is saying. You know, it's already difficult for people to believe in mediums that do everything for free. Imagine how can you believe in mediums that are paid? It's much more difficult. So if someone is being paid to produce a phenomena, to talk to a spirit, this can be real or not, but you know, we always question. So imagine a person that do not believe in it, and oh, go to that medium, you pay and this will happen. Of course the person is going to question even more. So that's what Kardec is trying to explain to the visitor, the difference in believing one that is doing for free out of goodwill and one that will be doing out of a salary. So Matthew is asking, aren't ghosts and spirits the same thing? So girls, can you help him to understand the difference?
the ghost and the spirits are the one who have departed the planet Earth. They have lived the body. That's the spirits.
So what happened is that there is always a misunderstanding.
It's
So
a
ghosts and
nomenclature.
spirits are the same thing,
Are
Matthew.
the same thing.
Ghosts are spirits. The spirits are ghosts. What I was trying to say is that when you talk to someone and you said, I saw a ghost, immediately the person connects with an evil spirit. That's what is portrayed in America, especially in America. Because when you talk about a ghost, means it's something evil to the majority of the persons. To the majority, something evil. So us that we study spiritism, we should never say ghost. We should say spirit. I remember my son, very, very young. He was in the he was in the fifth grade. And I don't know how they were talking about religion in the fifth grade. And and then he was telling, oh, my mother is a medium, and then she sees spirits, something like that. I don't remember, so many years ago. And then his friend said, oh, she see ghosts. And my son, fifth grade, said, no, she see spirits. And then he came and he told me, he's like, Mama, can you believe they were saying that you see ghosts? I told him, no, you see spirit. But he was so young, I don't really know if he knew the difference. But it was just very cute. But it's for us. The difference is more for us, so we can help people to understand. And we say, do you love your grandmother? And somebody say, oh, my grandmother was the best person in the planet. Okay, very good. So if your grandmother appears for you, is she going to be a ghost? Is she going to be an evil spirit? Or is she will be your loving grandmother? And then the person say, no, my grandmother was good, so she will be good. I'm like, yeah, so she's a spirit. We can't generalize, especially in American society, just because of the movies, just because of Hollywood, that has this idea that the ghosts are evil. In the reality, ghosts are just spirits. But it's good for us to understand the difference so we can explain to others. We have just to quickly finish finish this book so we can start the other chapter. So I will finish reading. Let me see. Oh gosh, we have a lot. So I will just mention the important portions. So mediumistic faculty is thus opposed to becoming a profession, since the faculty depends on the will foreign to the medium. So Kardec basically is saying that you cannot have a job as a medium because you depend on the spirits and you cannot pay the spirits. You cannot tell them, I'm going to give you $100 to show up today and do a reading, because that's not what happens. They will show up if they want or not. So even with Fox sisters, the American Fox sisters, I read the biography of them, and one of them said they were in a stadium. They were in a big, big stadium with hundreds of people that paid to see them performing, paid to see them talking to the spirits. And she was there, and she couldn't feel the spirit. She couldn't see. And then her sister, they were three, but the mediums were two. And her older sister told her, fake, because she couldn't see anything. That's when she faked. She was talking to a spirit. And that's when the things start going down, down, and down.
Wow.
Because they start making a lot of money with their mediumship, and the good spirits that were helping them, they stop showing up. And then the ones that want to confuse them start appearing. That's the big problem. Jacqueline, you want to say something?
No, I was just saying they started saying goodbye.
Ah, exactly, exactly. So just to finalize here, we have, therefore, those who need phenomena to be convinced should prove their goodwill to the spirits by means of a serious and patient observation if they want to be assisted by them. But if it is through faith, cannot be imposed. It is no less true that it cannot be bought. So, you cannot buy patience, but you cannot buy faith, and the spirits cannot be bought. So
We cannot hire mediums.
if the person needs to see a spirit to believe in spirituality, that's already a problem. That's already a problem. So, my friends, our time is finished. It was, as always, it was a blessing to be here, a blessing to be able to be discussing these important subjects. These books are so, so important for us to digest, to fully understand. And as I always say, the gospel according to Spiritism is a book forever, forever. This is like my third book. And let me see when this is from 2012. Look, 2012. And before this, I had two other books. So I had new versions, and I keep I keep my old one because I like to write and to make like little summaries so I can restudy what I already studied. But we arrived to our end, so let's do our final prayer, and then I have a few messages to give to all of us. So let's just close our eyes, elevate our thoughts to the good spirituality. Thank you so much for Mia InnerLight, Spirits, Kardec Radio, spirits that are always helping all of us, our guardian angels that connected us with good ideas, with good vibrations. Thank you to all our friends that were here together with us. At this moment, we would like to ask for the spirituality to help all of us, to continue protecting us, to put upon all of us these good vibrations, to bless our water, to make it our medication, to help these good fluids to penetrate our physical bodies, enlighten even more our thoughts, helping us to have good actions. And please help us to be able to demonstrate what we are learning, Help us to continue with good examples, so we will be the real instrument of our faith. We will be able to put in practice all the good things that we know will help us. And please help all of us to continue connected, to continue exercising this beautiful Spiritist philosophy that we were able to discover in this reincarnation. Thank you so much. So be it. Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Araceli.
Thank
Your first
you.
time was very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so
having
much,
me.
Bikini. You're always helping us. All of you that were here with us. So, to the ones that are in our chat, I already told you that I'm starting a specialization class in in law. So, I will have to study for a full year. UK and EU law. It's very difficult. I work full day and I will have to study almost every night to be able to produce all my paperwork. So I will be changing our classes from weekly to monthly. First, I thought about canceling totally, but I don't want to cancel totally. I have been in Kardec Radio for 4 years already, and I love it. And I think it's so good for us to be able to have a channel to continue our moral improvement. Even if there are hundreds of channels, there are not so many channels in English about Spiritism. So I think it's important. But this is just to let you all know we will be back again in the beginning of August. We are not going to be coming back next week, as my classes start July 5th. The holiday is my
Wow.
first day of class.
What are you gonna study?
Hmm?
What are you gonna study?
I'm going to study, well, I'm studying the University of Cambridge, is anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism finance. Yes, I study about money and how to stop the bad guys.
Oh wow.
So thank you so much to all of you. Love you so much. And we will
Thank
be
you.
next month.
Good luck with your school.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, Angie.
I need.
I
Bye.
see you Sunday.
I need the prayers.
I
Thank
see
you
you
all.
Sunday.
Araceli and Jackie, just wait a little bit. Thank you, everybody.